Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Community Development Advisory Committee.
4:04.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what time is it?
4:04.
4:04. Let's open the meeting. Okay, we do not, the minutes are not prepared. We're gonna have to table that to the next meeting. Okay. Going down the agenda here, we have the master plan. All right. We have our specialist with us here.
Do you want to
go at it.
share your screen?
Yeah.
Sarah?
Sarah, do you want to share the screen?
Sure. Can you give me access?
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, so in the Dropbox, I added a draft version of the survey to go over tonight and a list of things I want people to sign up for to help us promote it. So would it be helpful with this survey if people taking a look at it and we could talk both, like broadly, or do we want to go question by question?
I didn't look at it.
I had a chance to look it over, but I don't have the copy with me. I didn't print it out, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll definitely share it and maybe just do an overview of what we're thinking. So it's tricky, of course, because we're putting all of the chapters in the master plan into one survey. So we're trying to make it as helpful for the writing process, but not too long, so we get as many people to fill it out as possible. Especially the software that we're using, it does tell you at the beginning how long it takes to fill out the survey. So this one should be about 15 minutes. It's 19 questions plus 4 demographic questions at the end. And instead of going through chapter by chapter, a lot of the questions will work for a few different chapters. So we're trying to optimize a good mix of multi-choice and long form that will get us a good glimpse at everything. So this format that we're seeing here on Word will be available for the print versions that we'll be seeing. And then there will be a digital version through a software called Typeform that will be available on the warrenmasterplan.com website. What's that?
Oh,
Wow.
there she is. Hey, Carol.
Can I come sit next to you, Jim?
Come right on over.
Where's your granddaughter?
I don't have her. Not today.
Yes, so, Sarah, as I was writing the recent grant application, I did have the opportunity to go back and look at the 2006 master plan. I would advise the committee do that as well.
Yeah.
Because there was actually some pretty solid information in there, things that we've either kind of addressed or are beginning to address, oddly enough.
Huh.
And I think that would help Sarah as you begin to glean what we now feel are important questions or what's maybe not so important as part of her survey. Does that make sense, Sarah?
To read the previous master plan?
Yeah?
Yeah, I've read it.
No, not you. I'm asking the committee to.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that's a reasonable, is it worthwhile, I guess?
For this survey, it would be helpful. Of course, if it takes more time, we can talk about that. But to have an approved version through this meeting, so we can start promoting it before the workshop.
Do you remember the question I said I found interesting? What was it?
Yeah.
How
that
was it phrased?
Crazy. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, on the 2006?
Yeah. Who in the town, I'm gonna paraphrase, but
Okay.
who in the town do you think has a lot of information up in their brain to share?
Yeah.
And you had, all the responses came
More in
up.
history and culture.
Culture, history and culture and all that.
Ah.
So, kinda cool. And who do you think?
Whew.
Well,
Open.
it was Miss Buck.
Miss Buck, Sylvia, yeah.
that
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sarah.
No worries. So I could briefly go through this and maybe holler if you have any questions. Does that work?
Yeah, that'll work.
Can I ask a crazy question, and Jim might know, but is there so one of the things I do in my job at the state is I developed a blast email list. Is there anything that we notify residents that we can send the survey to? Is there a master list of residents, maybe like somewhere on the email and to do the survey?
We could use Town Alert.
Town alert.
Town alert.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
or,
great?
Reverse
Yeah.
911, you could put something out.
Yep.
But Town Alert, they get it, and then maybe have a contest, something that they enter it, just, I don't know,
Motivation.
motivation,
But
but
the
Yeah,
Town
maybe.
Alert, I don't know how many people actually
read
would
it.
actually
But it's
get it.
still,
Yeah.
it's taking the bite out of things, at least gets more people exposed to it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that you would wanna send a link of the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to link,
Mhm.
Okay.
yes.
Yep.
That's what it would
I'll
be.
put $100 in if they take it to a prize.
You're gonna put it in for a prize?
Whoa, did you hear that,
Yeah.
Sarah?
Wow.
Anything for
Wow.
Sarah. You heard me, I'm public, I'll give 100, we win $100 if you fill out a
Wow.
survey.
That's very nice.
$100.
That's nice to
Yeah.
fill out a
I think
survey.
it's too much? 50 then?
Too
No.
little.
Too little.
Well, you put it,
I'm
what,
just-
so you
500.
put everybody's name in a hat that
Yeah.
did the survey
Yes, of
and you
course.
pick a winner
Yeah.
and that winner would get the prize. That'd be a nice motivational thing to get people to do the survey.
Mhm.
I would say cash, but maybe towards
Like
going to a business in town, a gift certificate.
Yeah, a gift,
That-
something.
Oh, cash is king.
Yeah.
Seriously, nobody wants.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, I'm
All
gonna give
right.
cash, no.
All right, that's, all right. Good ideas. I like
Moving
where your
on.
head's at. You're thinking outside the box. That's good. All right, let's get back to the survey.
Oh, this is good survey.
First question, little softball to start us off. What recreational opportunities would you like to see more of? It's the open space question. And then we get into a little bit of economic development. What products or services do you go out of town for? And then my second favorite question, what buildings, places, or areas have sentimental value to you? So we'll use this for natural cultural resources, open space rec. Also a little bit of town services too, as a way of, what people value, where are they finding community in Warren, sort of question. And then this is our biggest housing question. It's worded, what do you want? It's not what do you want to see in Warren, it's, what has been your experience in Warren, for us to react to. So it's I or someone I know is facing difficulties, financial struggles, and then the scale of extremely agree to disagree.
Can you, I think you always gotta have an NA,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
give
'cause-
people that option. It makes them feel a little more comfortable.
Because Warren is accessible to elderly residents. I mean, I may not know anything about that, right? So
Yeah.
an NA would be good.
Super helpful, yeah. And then this is cut off, but it's a three-part question more regarding balance of land use. So what areas should we be building more housing versus businesses versus open/non-developed land? So this is also interesting. We did this question for another town, and it was cool to see where people also wanted mixed use. They put the same places for housing and businesses, or some places just housing, some places businesses. But also getting people to think more critically about, we only have so much land. What parts are we okay with developing versus not?
Can I ask a question on that? What about maybe putting, like a lot of towns that I've lived, not many, but maybe putting one house per acre, so we don't have the blight that we see starting to happen in certain areas of the town because of the zoning laws that we have? Is that something that the residents might want to consider to keep? I moved here because of the woods and I'm a tree hugger, I'll be the first to admit it, but maybe increase 1 acre per lot instead of like putting 2 or 3 houses on an acre, what I see in
Well,
certain.
in the rural area, there already is that. It's only in the villages that you can build on a smaller lot.
But maybe
It's all predetermined, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just throwing it out there, I know, I hate to see houses on top of it. Houses-
Yeah.
So there more questions later on in the survey focused on zoning?
There's a few more land use questions yet, but for what Steve's getting to, it's usually something we talk more about in the workshop, where we'll take the survey results, where do you want to see more housing?
Okay.
Top answers will be the options on one end, and then what kind of housing do you want to see in each area?
Mhm.
So this is the kind of the start of that discussion. We could add something in the survey though about density.
I'm just throwing it out there, I'm just, me seeing where zoning is very enforced and you can't build on top of one another, even in the village is more what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah. We could talk about this as a question that's in red, because I needed the help from the committee on that one, and that could be a good place to wiggle that in. I'm gonna keep that in mind, yeah. And this is another question that's basically every chapter of the master plan in one. What would you like to see more of in Warren? So this would be a check situation, yes or no, covering businesses, industrial, houses, offices, and always another situation. Oh, here they are. So these questions coming from talking to all of you in Warren, I wanted to have some sort of way to throw in what people might think of different preferences for West Warren versus Warren Center. And I started writing it, I was like, I don't think I know enough about, what the town would think is helpful for this question. Maybe it is a density question. And put up a little starter here. New mixed use, more business opportunities in existing buildings, small size multifamily.
I don't know, it seems pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know what you'd add though. Because you're talking about the center of each
yeah, I mean, the
village,
village.
so you're not gonna want, you're
No,
not gonna put open space.
no, no. And like West Warren has obviously the mills and like Copart and all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land for development in West Warren that's the Callahan's property, all of Gilbert Road, a couple thousand acres up there that, so essentially there's nothing there now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a prime area for development. It's actually zoned for that development as well.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what people would respond to on that.
Anything else we could add to these lists to help, especially with that context?
Could that area actually be listed on this survey?
Like specific to that.
Specific Gilbert
Yeah.
Road area?
Yeah.
What would you like to see in that area? What,
Yeah.
Mm. Do you know?
Make it sure if it's private property to put on the survey.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
It's-
If we could do a more specific area, and I could even do like a picture, a map with like a circle, if that would be helpful, of the target area.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said,
because it is private?
yeah, we can't be specific with it then. But I'm sure people will think of it. There's a lot of people that don't even realize what's there. I mean, there's a large portion of the town is completely undeveloped and ready for that.
So, but we couldn't have a question on there, like what would you support in that area?
In special zoned areas.
Or what would you not support? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want a casino, but you can put a Walmart there.
Yeah, I don't want an amusement park, but I want a racetrack,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Or a
Right,
junkyard.
Well, yeah.
a gigantic 1,500 acre,
Yes.
you can see it from space.
Or Amazon.
Yes.
Can I get to what you were asking again, though? Are you saying that we can't really call out people's desires on property that's privately owned?
Not for specific parcels. If we're saying specifically like 10 Main Street, what do you want to see in it?
Doesn't that get to the heart of like zoning though, or, right, I mean,
Because aren't all
Right.
the businesses downtown privately owned?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's not,
yeah.
I mean, there's not much going on.
The issue with West Warren too is there's no, once you're in that downtown area, there's not like there's space to develop.
No.
There's nothing. There's no room left between the river and the town, and then you get into the. to the
like you
building.
couldn't have your big circle like you're saying, well, here's this unused property, some of which is private, some of which is public. How do you feel about X, Y, and Z? within this area.
Yeah, that works.
That's what you guys are asking, right?
Yeah.
So I think there are big parcels of land that are privately owned, but people might have opinions on them, and that's okay, I think.
Yeah, we're not forcing the person to develop the land in the way we're requesting or whatever answers we're coming up with. We just wanna see what people are thinking.
They might actually
And
wanna
then the
know.
owner of the
Yeah.
property might be interested to see what people
Right.
are thinking.
They wanna put
Because
in a
if he was
successful project.
going to develop a project there,
Yep,
what's the town wanna see come to this location?
yeah.
I mean, yes, this could support, not that it would, but an Amazon warehouse. Does anybody wanna see that? Does it wanna see entertainment? Does it wanna be based around, amusements, parks, rides, stuff like that? Like I said, racetracks, there's, all these options have been on the table in the past.
'Cause
It just never happened.
These places will likely, has the potential of shaping the future of Warren, almost more so than the existing village centers of Warren Center and West Warren Village.
Oh, absolutely.
To a certain extent,
Absolutely.
So we wanna put a question 9 in here,
Yeah,
and then not have it be as village oriented for more large land use options.
correct.
It's like you can almost single out the Wright's Mill as one on itself, and that whole big section of, like really western,
Yeah, West,
you
There's
know.
the old community center there.
yeah, the community, that's a tough spot there,
Mm,
it would have been a nice thing, but
yeah.
that's a project. But that's
So-
what we're looking for, is we're
Right.
looking to see what projects could be developed.
So what would we call this third area that people would understand?
West Warren.
Yeah,
The far west.
yes,
Um,
it has a special zoning on it too,
it's the major development overlay district,
yeah.
but I don't know. are
Nobody's
people-
gonna understand what that is, you would need an image
Yeah, if you can put an image.
of
Yeah.
West Warren in that area,
Mhm.
and it's,
So we have the major development overlay district, and then we have the, mill complex.
yeah.
Overlay district.
So it's the Smith Road, Gilbert Road area.
Yes, so
Yeah.
so that developer owns from the river all the way past the turnpike into Brimfield. He owns almost all of it. There's one section I believe he doesn't own. So, and I don't know, but again, there's nearly 3,000 acres there. So,
Let me ask, what about in 67, is there anything, opportunity there for development?
I'm not sure.
'Cause
Where is it?
I know where Mo is, that whole
Yeah.
area is, I think Cali owns that
Mm,
100%.
No, I don't think that's different.
The, ex
Another
officio.
owner, but there's another big opportunity right on the main road.
There's a lot of wetlands, but.
Yeah, but anything goes up and down and up and everywhere in town.
Yeah.
But as you get closer to the turnpike, the property gets better and better and better.
Mm.
So, and at one point in time, I know there was discussion, they had rights to build a turnpike entrance off of that property.
Yeah.
Because if they were gonna put a casino or a racetrack or something like that there, they'd have to have direct access to the turnpike.
Yeah.
I don't know where that sits, that's a whole other ballgame, but I know that land is, someday I can see that exploding and changing the town
Mhm.
completely.
Mm.
So I could add these two with pictures rather than words of the areas we're describing.
Yeah,
Do you think it's still beneficial to have these two, or do we want to focus on more of those large parcels?
I would just leave, well, you could leave those the way they are. I
Yeah.
would do the new ones though as just an open-ended
yeah,
write-in thing. Those are fine the way
Sure.
they are.
yeah,
But 9 and 10 would be just
just
write your ideas
write
down.
your
Yeah.
idea, yeah.
Perfect.
That way we're not putting something in somebody's head, it has to be something they come up with.
I like it. Cool. Awesome. Are we good to move on?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, that's super helpful. And then I'll add a NA column for this one as well, but this is your experience aging in Warren, options to downsize, assisted living, elder services. And what experience have you or other residents have working in Warren? Commuting, childcare, sectors. Then we have 2 transportation questions regarding roads, dangerous roads, and roads that would be helpful for multimodal transportation, biking and pedestrian infrastructure. This one we can cut if you feel like the MVP, HMP work has already covered this in a survey. I'm not sure, but this is just a general, what's on your mind for natural hazards that might be, increased through climate change? Storms, tornadoes, flooding, heat, cold, drought.
We really did
It
go.
was pretty well covered.
Yeah, we covered that very well.
Cool. So we can take this out?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it just, if we can eliminate, we added a couple, let's take,
Yeah.
take something out if we
Try to
can.
keep it manageable.
Keep it short,
Keep
yeah.
it simple.
And then 3 questions on municipal facilities and services, public schools, open-ended, and then how satisfied are you with public facilities and how satisfied are you with public services? So this, I'd love a fact check too on this list here, if I'm missing anything. For buildings, we have library.
There are 2 libraries in town.
Oh, yeah, Warren and West Warren.
Yeah,
I'll move this up the list, but would people know as
Is
this
Fire
library
Station
a,
2 still
like,
active?
common library or just?
it's, yeah, Warren Library and West Warren Library.
Do we want to say town hall or municipal building?
Municipal building.
Yeah, municipal.
Shepherd Municipal Building. That leaves the question, do we want information or input on the existing historic town hall?
Yeah, do we wanna dig
That's a
into that?
big item here in the town,
It's a hot
Sarah,
button.
is
Yeah, you
The-
should add a line.
the disposition of the existing historic town hall.
Yeah, or Old Town Hall, or whatever you wanna call it.
Well, it does say police station, Old Town
Oh,
Hall.
yeah, there you
Oh, okay,
go.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's up there. I
I'm
saw
looking
that.
at it on an angle.
Well, but to me, that's 2 separate things.
Yeah.
You could be satisfied with the old town hall, but not the police being in there.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so
Correct.
I would
Probably
do,
make
You want them
that
separated?
two
Yeah.
separate
Lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do a line between the Old Town Hall and Police Station.
You may wanna call it just town hall, because
Yeah.
there's no old town hall,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
the town hall.
Or historic,
Historic,
historic.
historic Town Hall.
because it is on a national register, Sarah.
Yeah.
Nice.
and keep,
And the name of this building is Shepherd, right?
Yep.
Yes, Shepherd.
Shepherd Municipal Building.
so, yeah, okay, that's good. And keep those 2
AR, no,
together.
take out the H, SH, E, PARD.
Yeah.
ARD.
Like that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep,
Cool.
It's not a shepherder with sheep, it was a guy's name, I guess.
yes.
Very good family town, they really are.
And then anything missing from the services list?
You're just gonna say recreation, not the facilities?
Yeah, this is more of a general
Okay, I'm just asking.
station. Would something make more
Slash
sense?
How about open space recreation and,
Okay.
and act, or passive and active? Or, no? Cause I think one could say like there's plenty of like open space, right?
Mhm.
Do other master plans make a distinction between active recreation and passive?
Not typically in the survey. Are we good?
Well, I think they're two different things altogether myself, but that's me.
I like that there's nothing on there for the highway department.
What about trash removal? We have the town dump, and a lot of people don't like that, a lot of people do, but, what's that? But that should be under trash.
No,
removal.
I think make a line for that, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Trash removal, because
This
we've
has
got,
been one of my ideas, is to do like townwide trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause
Absolutely.
that's also been, we have how many?
You gotta get highway up there, Sarah.
Oh, darn it.
I know it doesn't pertain, but I know the hot button is mail delivery. Why don't we have mail delivery? It doesn't, nothing to do with the town, but maybe, we have no mail delivery at little P.O. boxes,
I
some
know.
people don't
Yeah.
like that.
I know.
Yeah,
But
our mail delivery
we
comes
can-
from Brimfield and West Brookfield.
We can never, ever do anything about that.
Exactly.
So I don't
Never.
know that it's worth asking.
Why
that
put it
question.
up there?
I get it, but it is a hot button that I hear a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
But if you can't change
You
it,
can't change
why
it,
put it
no,
up there?
okay.
Yeah,
Cause then you're gonna tease people with that
Yeah,
idea.
I get it.
yeah,
What? Ooh, cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna check that
Well,
box.
sorry.
No.
It's funny though, when you go to tell people, well, you can't use my house address.
Yeah.
You have to use a P.O. box. Well, why? We have to have a house address. Well.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
not getting there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we say town website or like digital services or town website?
Town website's up there.
I
know.
thought that was,
I know.
yeah.
And then she's got
Okay.
online bill pay, I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Like emergency notification, a town alert,
Town alerts,
Well, I got emergency management.
management, yeah, which is all, which
Which
that falls
covers
right under.
everything,
Yeah.
What about street lighting?
yeah.
It's another hot button too.
It is?
It is.
I mean, people
It
want-
is.
some people want lights on their streets.
There are a lot of lights on a lot of streets.
Not on the.
On all intersections and dangerous curves,
Certain
there's
streets.
lights.
Is that a public service?
I'm just throwing it out.
We bought, believe me, we pay for it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember, yeah, one of the former board members got
Yeah.
a grant for upgraded
Yeah.
street.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there.
That's what this question could be so helpful for. If you're going for a grant, and you have the data. 70% of people that answered our survey said
More
we want
street
better
lighting.
tracking.
Yeah.
Is grant writing public service?
The emergency, what did you call that, the emergency,
There's a reverse 911 system at town and the town alerts.
the town alerts? I hear from a lot of people, they don't know how to go about getting their
Town alert,
town alert information.
okay.
Is there any way during our elections that we can just have a form people could pick up so that they could read about how they go about putting their information in so that they can get those alerts? Especially like
This is where I was
reverse
going down this road
911.
with digital services,
Yeah.
remote services, or technological services, you know?
Mhm.
More
Carol,
than just like
was
town
that for the
website.
telephone or for the digital town alert app?
Well, I'm thinking both.
Okay.
I hear both.
Should, yeah.
When I worked for the water district, people were constantly complaining that they don't know how to get their information on this reverse 911.
Okay.
People were saying that they don't know how to go about getting the app and putting that on their phone so that they can see all of the town alerts.
Okay.
So is there something that we can do to?
Well, that's why I'm looking to combine it. So I'm saying digital technological services
Yeah,
is all encompassing website,
yeah.
online bill pay, you know, reverse 911, you know, all falls in within the realm
That
of.
could fall under the website, town website.
Yeah, town website and,
Digital
digital, yeah,
technology.
yeah. Digital services, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That would cover. all
Nice
of it.
job.
And then you can get rid of online bill pay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, cause digital services would fall under that. Perfect,
Is that good?
yeah.
Cool. is my favorite. You can cut it if you want. But how do you find community in Warren? This works for every chapter, but it's also helpful for us if there's groups of people meeting that are informal, but could be interesting to talk to for this process and invite to the workshop. So it's a little bit of spying on our half, but also helpful for the municipal services chapter and cultural resources.
I don't understand
then-
the question.
Yeah.
How do you find Warren?
Community in Warren.
How do you
Community.
find, how is it to live? I mean, what is the question? I don't know.
How do you find?
Who do you hang out with? What do you do?
What do you do for fun in Warren, or what do you
Is
do?
that the question?
Yeah,
Well,
but
how
that's
do
what
you
it's,
find
that's
community,
how do you
yeah.
find community?
Or what? It could be also like maybe
More
fun,
specific,
weird.
more specific.
I like to go to Dean Park, or I
Yeah.
like to go to Glenda's and play,
How do you engage?
Darts.
Darts, yeah.
How about
You know.
that? How do you
Yeah.
engage with the community
Yeah.
in Warren?
yeah.
I hang out at the Polish club.
I like that better,
You know.
because I'm a very literal person, I didn't really understand.
How do you engage with the community in Warren?
I like that better.
Yeah, that's
I like
nice.
that.
Or what is your involvement with the community?
Well, engage is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what
Cool. And then the last question here is, what would increase your involvement in local government? Thinking about
Ooh.
barriers to civic engagement.
More opportunities to serve. I think we already have a lot of
A
opportunities
lot
to
of
serve.
opportunity. There's a tremendous amount of opening for
Yeah.
everyone.
Can you add other than complaints? I was kidding everyone.
Yes, we know.
No, that's good.
And then final comments.
Yeah. that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, I think
I do think that was.
I think
It's a
that's
pretty reasonable survey.
That's a nice survey.
Yeah.
That's nothing. You're not asking too much, but you get a lot out of it. Covers a lot of different angles.
We have 4 more just demographic questions. I have a little disclaimer on why we use it, and they're not required, but it's helpful when we have data to say, okay, who is answering this? I mean, a great example is if everybody says, let's defund the schools, and then we find out everyone is 65 and up, is that a good data point?
Yeah.
So what is your connection with Warren? What is your age? What is your...
Could you go back up to your disclaimer, please?
Sure.
But by nature, the whole thing is sort of like volunteer. I mean, is this just give an opportunity for people not to answer
To
them?
answer, yeah.
You know, do you have to have that disclaimer? I mean, because people are
I think
volunteer.
something that people are very sensitive about, so I have to get in front of it a little and say, we understand that this is intense to answer personal questions, especially with people giving their email, which we don't store it with their email. But just to acknowledge, hey, this is weird, yeah, but this is why we're doing it, kind of thing.
And from your experience, do a lot of people opt out of answering them?
If I had to guess, probably like 3/4 will answer it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
That's a
right.
good number.
It's like a,
More than that.
Yeah, that's a decent amount.
Well, I mean, I don't find question 1 particularly
Sensitive.
troubling.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No.
And number
What are
2,
the
I'll
others?
give you my
Yeah.
age, you know.
Yeah, and it's a range, whatever. It's,
Yeah.
We are what we are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Income.
combined family income, no
Ooh.
way.
see?
I had trouble with that one.
More. Decline to answer.
Can I give you different ranges for that one, Sarah? That more in line with some of the work that I do? Or is
Sure.
this the recommended ranges?
This is what the census uses for their data. So if you have, I mean, we only use it because then we could kind of put it next to Warren's population and see what our sample is. But if you already have the population with other numbers, yeah, we could change
All right,
them.
we'll talk about that later.
Perfect. Yeah. And then race. and a little thank you.
Let me see
So-
that, let me see the race thing too. Does this align with
Census.
this, it does? Okay.
Okay. Do you have a different one?
Yeah, there's one that HUD uses that's a little different, you know, so.
Do they have mixed race as an option?
Well, it's like the way that they phrase Hispanic, you know, tries to clarify that a little, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but the way HUD organizes this is a little different than what you have.
Here.
HUD
Yeah, we can go over
being
that.
Housing and Urban Development.
Cool. And then a optional spot to put your email if you want reminders of when the workshop is and a copy of the draft plan when that happens. But that's the only way we'll use people's email. And a little shout out to the workshop. Anything else for the survey?
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
We have a question.
Yes.
Sarah, you said this survey was done in another town, I think, earlier?
Similar surveys were done.
CMRPC,
Yeah,
go ahead, Sarah.
We have experience doing master plans in other communities that we've taken lessons from what works, what doesn't work in a survey like this, and then think about what would be helpful for Warren to know.
Yeah.
So a little mix.
Can you give us an idea how many people did a survey in any particular town? Just ballpark?
Didn't you say it was like 10 to 15%? Or did I make that
Lower
up?
than that.
It's
Lower
lower
than
than
that.
that? So,
I'm trying to think what we got for Brownfield.
So how many would you, like to get in Warren of 5,000? What's the goal gonna be?
well, how many households are there? Individuals. So multiple people from a household can take this, yes?
Yeah, I think everybody can.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Anybody.
ages?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you get 5%, if you got 250 surveys, that would be stellar, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That'd be excellent if you get 250 out of it.
So anything,
So how do you go about getting more though?
Oh,
lots of,
you wanna talk about it?
public
Yes.
notice and,
Let's talk about that.
Let's start next.
We only get like 100 people at a meeting, if that,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook, town alert, you know, multiple,
I'm gonna have a popcorn machine, on the town common.
Hey, Clem's does a hell of a lot of business with free popcorn.
I've been out of this for so long, I just put it in my calendar.
So for
We're gonna-
promoting the survey, what we've been working on is, we have the website launched and the Facebook page ready, they just haven't been promoted, but they are live. WarrenMasterPlan.com. The website is hosted through CMRPC's website, so I just got a different domain, so it's an easier thing to type out, but it's technically a subpage on CMRPC's site, so that'll help a lot with paying for it. But that's ready to go, and that will be where the digital version lives. And then we also have paper survey boxes ready. We'll talk about who can coordinate those. But we usually do a town hall in the senior center. I threw in library as kind of thinking about what else could be a place where there's a lot of traffic and people who would prefer paper surveys.
Yeah, post
But we
office.
also have flyers and a Facebook ad prepared for when we launch. So that's what we're doing on our side.
Would the post office in West Warren allow us to,
they may not.
they may not?
You could put a flyer up on the bulletin board.
Yeah, they allow flyers there.
Yeah,
They may
just
not
say
post
it's
the
drop
box,
at
so.
senior center.
Masons
Yeah,
might be
Masons.
good.
Masons might do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would probably.
The
that's a
restaurant might
tremendous
do it
amount of
too.
traffic.
Mass
Would
Appeal
these
maybe.
be out in
Yeah,
April?
Mass Appeal.
Dippin' Donuts.
When are they gonna go out, Sarah?
It'll be as early as next week.
Okay, because I think the water district, because a lot of people still go in to pay their bills.
Oh, and certainly here.
Certainly
Did you say
here.
this building?
Same thing.
Yeah.
limited tax.
So there are two water districts and
Tax
they,
collector's
Only
office.
one, because they don't have an office, West Warren doesn't have an office.
Yeah.
don't they use, what do they, oh, you're saying in the office?
Yeah,
Oh. But then we could certainly ask them to put something in their bills that go out.
yes.
No, okay.
Perfect. So this is where the volunteering comes in. Who would like to coordinate the paper survey box at the senior center? Which, for the paper survey boxes, Chris, myself, or somebody else from CMRPC can drop them off in Warren, or if somebody's gonna be in Worcester, they're in our office. So we have two options there. But who can do the senior center one?
I can deliver whatever needs to be delivered.
Steve's got Masons.
Yeah, Steve's
Yeah,
got
I got
Mason's
Masons.
covered.
Masons, okay.
Maybe I'll actually make the gift certificate for Masons.
Well, there you
That
go.
would make them.
That would be
I
it.
think, so Carol, you and I will coordinate, and divvy up or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, do we wanna do one at the library? Does that make sense for Warren? Or
Yep,
just
Both
three?
libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do
Yeah.
both
Both
libraries.
Both Warren and West Warren Library.
Schools?
Mm.
I'm not sure.
What about All Town? We didn't bring up All Town.
Yeah.
All Town?
I don't know if they would let us.
Dippin' Donuts would.
Dipping,
Yeah.
yep.
So where are good places to put flyers?
Dippin'
what
Donuts got
districts?
a community board.
So Dippin' Donuts,
Yeah,
I don't know, does Alltown have some sort of board or?
I don't know if
What's
they
all
do.
that?
It's a convenience store, gas station in the center.
Oh, that's what you
yeah,
call it?
mobile.
That's called All Town?
It's called All
Oh,
Town, that's the
okay.
name of
Jim,
it.
what about your electronic board that we could put up in the center of town and use that for the people?
Yes, I can do all the Facebook sharing and,
Message
Dippin'
boards.
The message board, the big, you know, you
you
put
can
on the
put it
main.
on the letter boards even.
We'll get it on, we'll ask someone to put it on the, what is it, Warren
That'd be really
Neighborhood,
big.
Watch.
Watch.
Warren Neighborhood Watch.
Eric.
Yeah, that's Derek.
Yeah, that's good, very good.
That's the most active.
Yeah, I'll coordinate with
There's
you.
two.
Yeah.
Well, there's a town site and then there's Derek's.
Places to put flyers?
Derek's gets most of them action.
yeah, I could do Dippin' Donuts, the,
It's a
Water
posting.
District, All
read
Town,
on.
I can do all those. That's not a problem.
Any other stores, places for flyers?
You talking all the
Well, you could-
downtown.
Glenda.
The market downtown, like we put up flyers
Yeah, the
recently.
different markets.
Yeah, massive.
So just do like downtown businesses, I guess.
Yeah. Can ask. Sooner to ask.
And we're not sure about the schools.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I do the schools, that's kind of a different.
Okay,
Hmm. No,
So media, picking up some of your conversation. Jim, you can do message boards, town stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
no. You can do town Facebook.
Yeah, put down, multiple, we get shared to multiple Facebook pages, townwide.
Any local papers we wanna,
Ware River News.
Ware River News, yeah.
And the reminder,
And the
Yeah,
reminder.
and the reminder,
it's
yeah.
been showing up for the past like 6 months.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
come.
can somebody, does anybody have a contact they know?
I
Yeah.
do,
Yep.
Jim Ferrer and I. She did a great job covering the MVP,
Yeah,
the editor.
yeah.
So yeah, we're familiar with the editor there. I don't know the reminder, just the Ware River News.
I know somebody has reminded.
Okay, so Jim Ferrera, reminder, and I'll do Ware River News.
Oh, awesome. And then we found personal invites, especially to groups that we know exist in town, are the most helpful for people filling out surveys. So we could run down this list. Some of them are gonna be funny, so they're in this room. But just somebody to volunteer to either email the lead of this person, say something in a meeting, just make sure all of these people are aware of what's going on.
So can I just cut this short and say we have one email address, it's called all departments?
Yeah,
And we can take care of that entire list with one email.
one email.
I don't know, I think it might be more helpful if people feel personally invited,
Okay,
and then,
Yeah.
who can do
I
it?
mean, I read them all no matter what, so.
yeah.
Well, Rich here is on the board, and so you coordinate, I guess, with Jim Ferrera, the Board of Selectmen, and Rich.
Yeah, I mean, we could have, we could have Karen maybe do
Karen.
these.
Do this,
Yeah, we give her like a template and then she can,
yeah,
if you wanna do each department, then we can do that.
yeah, she could go through that.
But you're missing Sarah's point. Yeah, we know Karen, that's her role, she's the administrative assistant. But Sarah's trying to say, if Jim, McKeon reached out to a certain thing, it might have be more impactful? Is that where you're kind of going with this, or?
So instead of it coming from the selectman's office, have it come from somebody else.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fine, I don't have to do anything.
Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
would
out.
definitely,
You're
like the fire chief and police chief, I would be happy to, talk to the chiefs and, is that, you tell us, Sarah, is that where you're going with this? Or-
Okay,
So let's divvy up the list, like she said,
okay.
and do a more personal approach, so it's just not one thing, just,
I'll tell the Board of Selectmen, hey.
I'll do the water district.
Carroll Water Districts, both,
Yeah,
okay? Put that plural, water districts, yeah. Cable? I know him
Yeah,
recently,
cable.
put me down for cable, that's fine. I don't know, assessors? Leave that for Jim, assessors. We got the Board of Health on our committee here. Dan, Board of Health, Dan.
And we got a cemetery commissioner with us too. We got a cemetery commissioner,
Did we lose you, Sarah?
selectmen, and Board of Health.
I don't know what happened to Sarah, she's pondering, or,
Did she hear us?
can you hear us, Sarah?
Oh,
Okay, so I said Board of Health, Dan,
Okay.
capital planning? That-
I can do that.
Rich,
I
capital
mean,
planning.
it's like
Rich,
crossing
she-
so many people that are already being contacted, so.
yeah.
Steve,
Steve, you gotta share that with your cemetery commissioners.
Rich, um,
That's historical.
Chris.
Historical.
we don't have a coach.
That's the.
I
that's
don't
the
know
senior
if there's an
center.
active cultural
I don't
concept.
think we do, that Sharon would cover the cultural
Yeah,
aspect.
she would do it.
Yeah,
Finance committee.
finance. Jim.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
get
not
out there,
here.
Jim.
Jim. Historical, I got that. Sylvia. Yep. I'm actually meeting with her soon.
The Housing Authority.
I haven't talked to them in a little quite.
I only talk to their maintenance end. I don't talk to anybody
Do you
else.
have a leader there now?
Tim, are you at the housing authority?
Oh, there we go.
Tim.
Yeah.
Do you wanna volunteer?
Nobody will talk to me up there.
Okay, never mind. Take him off the list.
Oh,
Are you serious or not?
Yeah, I'm serious.
All right, we'll find someone else for the housing.
The library's mad at me too from last week.
Oh, boy, all right.
Alright, so Tim's not on housing or library.
Well,
I'll do planning board, that's fine.
Sue, I'll reach out to Sue Ramsey, Park and Rec. Yep.
I'll do, I could do ZBA.
And Rich for zoning board of appeals.
I can do the library, I don't,
You wanna do the
All right,
library?
Steve will contact the library.
See if they want to buy benches.
benches, picnic tables.
We'll leave you to the housing authority, Sarah, you go up there and say hi to those folks.
okay,
Yeah, they'll be excited to see you.
Mhm.
excellent.
Well, isn't that,
So I'll add this list back into the Dropbox with the names filled out. Anything that we could think of that's a creative way to get the word out, specifically to Warren, you know, who people listen to, where people listen to.
Not that I go to church, but wouldn't we miss the churches before masses and stuff like that? You know, outside, I know I don't go to church, but I'm more popular.
I've been banned, so.
Right, so when my wife used to go, I know 4 o'clock, she used to go on Saturdays, and then, I know there's a couple.
If you know anybody, you could reach out to. No, you don't
I
know.
don't go to church.
I know you don't.
were the schools on that list? I couldn't see it.
The what?
Schools, you
Well,
mentioned?
yeah, I keep on talking about schools, and how do you work schools into this?
I think that's like so important.
I do
You gotta
too.
talk to the young kids. Because they're the future of the town. I mean,
Sarah,
they-
have you had any experiences dealing with the schools? Yeah. What approaches other communities taking?
Towns that don't have regional schools, sometimes we've even had like a scheduled, everybody takes the survey during like an advisory or homeroom for high schools.
Okay.
Other times, we've had great success going through PTA, PTO situations. If anybody has a contact for those.
Let's talk to
But
Sue
Steve-
Ramsey.
What about
Oh,
Steve Duff? We just talked to Duff.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he calls me all the time, but it's for other reasons.
Do you wanna call him and see?
Yeah, I could call
See
Steve.
what he might recommend as an approach.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one year, Sarah, and it was tremendously successful, years and years ago. We were trying to figure out what sort of play equipment to get for one of the parks. And I went into the school, they invited me in,
Yeah.
and I gave the kids all stickers and asked them to put stickers on the types of equipment that they would like to see. And it was a very interactive process, you know, at the grade school, you know. So I'm sure we could probably, like piggyback an event that they might be having, right?
Sure.
Perhaps
Yeah.
an athletic event at the high school. And maybe
Didn't we talk about the town meeting also last time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have flyers at the
Yeah,
time.
we'll have flyers at the town meeting.
Town meeting.
Sure.
We talked about that, it'd be a great
Does
place.
somebody already lead on that initiative?
What?
Would that be somebody who's just leading that?
Who's leading the town meeting flyers?
I don't know, I'll do that.
Okay.
And I think,
Yeah.
I think Jeremy said he would call
Yeah, I'll call
the
the school.
school.
Oh, sorry, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
And was that Rich that said town meeting flyer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just,
Anyone that we don't think would be reached from this list who's getting left out?
I'll let the highway department know about it.
Well, you've got LESAC, there's how many bus drivers does LESAC have?
Quite a few.
Yeah. I don't know if LESAC, I've never met them.
I could do that one. I could-
Yeah, you
Keep my
could.
thought.
Your father works there.
Yeah, there you go.
so,
Jim McCain's gonna reach out to the local bus,
L-
school bus company.
LIZAK, bus company. And, well, get rid of, no, LIZAK.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Yep,
Yep.
and that's Jim.
Jim's
Jim
on it.
M, yeah.
Jim's
Jim
on it.
M.
Oh, yeah,
M.
Jim M.
We get too many Jims.
Jimmy F, Jimmy M.
Awesome. Well, so what will happen next is I will upload the flyer, a half sheet, all the Facebook information, website information to the Dropbox for you all to share. It sounds like
Hold on a second. Do you guys know how to use Dropboxes and whatnot?
I don't remember getting a link to it, though.
She sent it, I saw it.
I got it.
Yeah.
I just clicked on it and brought me right
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
just, yeah, there's nothing.
Clicked
to
on
it.
the survey, clicked on it because that's how I got to read this ahead of time. So,
You guys in comfort level with use of the Dropbox? Carol, that's new to you. I think at some point in time, Sarah did send emails along with me as well
yeah.
that said, here is the master plan Dropbox, and
Dropbox.
this is how you access the information that she's.
Can you
sharing.
resend that? I don't remember ever seeing that.
Yeah, I don't remember
I don't
seeing
think I
that
seen it either.
I sent it to you guys.
Well, if you, oh, okay, well, I'm looking for Sarah's email.
Yes, sir, Jim.
I think maybe when the police department hands out a citation, they could,
I like it.
it's friendly.
Hey, if you want leniency with your citation, you better fill out this survey.
Yeah, really. $10 off your ticket.
We got two different options here.
You can either fill out this survey on the behalf of Warren, or you can have this ticket.
Carol, did you have it?
I did get the email.
Who sent it?
So,
Chris,
Look at that.
And what's the subject?
subject, Warren CDAC meeting.
Oh,
for
that's, I just,
3/27/24.
that's probably why I didn't see it. I probably just
Well,
deleted
next
that.
time I'll include master plan in my email.
Yeah, make it
subject.
master plan, cause, you know, with the volume of emails.
You want me to forward this to you, Rich?
Sure, yeah, that's,
in the future, now that we have a website too, and you can see this different screen,
Okay.
you can go to warrenmasterplan.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, all documents, and it will take you to the drop.
iHacker@warren-mad.com, .gov.
Back up. Yeah, there you go.
And,
So,
I don't think I have your emails, guys, so, well, you get Board of Health, right? No? Okay. Do you have, you do have emails, all right? Can I get your email addresses before we go? Okay.
Hey, I'm not familiar with any of this, so what happens after the survey? I don't wanna jump ahead, but I'm just curious. When you get the surveys back, what's the next step?
Sarah, what do we do with the results of the survey? How are they used?
so the first thing we'll do is use them to inform the workshop, which is gonna be at the end of May. So for instance, the question, where do you want more housing? We'll take some preliminary results, even if the survey isn't closed, to see what people are thinking for areas of housing, and use them to further the discussion in the workshop. We're gonna keep the survey open until after the workshop, just as a last push, if anybody hasn't taken it by then. And then I think keeping it open for town meeting too. And after that, we'll make a report on just the raw data that will be available to everybody before the plan is even out. But we'll use all of the results to kind of inform the strategies we're looking at for the master plan. A lot of them, even if they look like housing or economic development, are essentially land use strategies. So when we're looking at any zoning reform, what people want to see in certain areas of town, as well as funding priorities, when we look at more recreation and all the town departments, where should our priority projects be? Also, what is the general future we're looking at? So the first time we'll use them in these meetings is when we're looking at the vision statement. You all will have the survey results before then and the workshop results to see kind of themes that are coming out of both of those.
Well, Sarah, is the main focus, it sounds like one of your main points is housing, because I've heard you say housing a bunch of times. Is that like
Yeah.
on top of the list, housing?
I
On
don't-
top of the list?
On your list, yeah, or
Like
your
it's
agenda?
important data. to get
At
from
present,
the
I
survey.
believe there's 4 equal parts to the master plan. Sarah, what are they again? The 4 points so
The
far?
chapters?
Yeah,
well, it's-
There's 7
yeah, that's-
chapters.
7.
but were we doing 4 now and some later? Oh, we're doing 7 now and 3 later?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first chapters we're looking at are 4, yeah. But we'll use this survey for the whole master plan.
Oh, okay.
Right, but again, is housing your main point? That's what it seems like, I keep hearing housing.
No, it's
No.
just a
It's one component.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think there are more questions on housing because it's something that's very much benefits from data from the town. And we have chapters like town services and facilities are much more numbers-based, capital planning, looking at the buildings and talking to department heads. But housing is much more personal, that we find having more data on that housing chapter specifically is helpful.
are you saying up front that Warren needs more housing? Is that the
I
study?
think that survey will help.
Yeah, but have you guys already determined that maybe Warren does need more housing than what it has now?
We have absolutely determined that the region, central Massachusetts, needs more housing. I think this will help us determine where Warren fits into the general housing crisis
Yeah.
and what people prefer to see.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah,
Wonderful
that's-
response.
Yeah.
I got a big agenda, Sarah. How we doing?
I'm all set if everybody's all set.
Are you gonna hang out or?
Yeah, I can hang out and listen in.
Okay, cool.
All right, anybody else on this?
I just have one question.
Absolutely.
Where would I pick up these boxes of surveys to?
Chris, did you mention,
I'll be in the office at some point in time in the near future.
okay, I think maybe an email with me, Carol, Chris to coordinate the boxes would be good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. And any other questions with the master plan? Are we're good for this topic for the evening? Or anyone else? No? Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Chris, you want to go run the rundown of our
Sure, if you don't
Grants.
mind, I'm gonna try to be
quick?
quick.
Quick, yeah.
So, municipal vulnerabilities, preparedness, and hazard mitigation. The MVP, that's
Yep.
been accepted by the state,
Yes.
and it's done and it's complete.
Yep.
I would like to circle back with you and Derek and complete some sort of video. I mean,
Video,
We
yeah.
have one sort of, but we wanna edit it a little.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and our team at CMRPC is still working on the hazard mitigation plan,
Okay.
using other communities that are,
Yeah.
presently updating that as the model to finish Warren's hazard mitigation plan. That work is ongoing. Open space and recreation plan is done. It was accepted by the state. It's a living, breathing document now that entitles Warren now to seek funds from the Department of Conservation and Recreation because you have a completed open space and recreation plan. So the grant program is called PARC, and that's not with a K, it's with a C, P-A-R-C. Sarah, help me out with the acronym.
Parcel acquisition?
No. Recreation. It's more encompassing than just money for recreational areas. You can
Yeah.
you can ask for monies to purchase open space and, do different things. So I'm
Okay.
sorry I forgot the acronym offhand, but that's the grant that the Department of Conservation and Recreation uses as part of the grant program, the PARC grant.
Parkland acquisitions and renovations for communities.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sarah. All right. And work is ongoing at Lucy Stone. Mr. O'Brien and other volunteers are doing a bang-up job with help from the highway department. And hopefully, you'll see more activities occurring this spring.
Yeah, we're getting very close to installing the sign messages, all the boards and stuff that we've gotten.
For people that are not familiar with it, I would recommend you go down there in the spring and see all the blooming plants and flowers that the volunteers have been doing down there, along with the new trails and signs.
Inside, yeah.
Mr. Olson, One Stop for Growth, okay? So, the FY '23 Prospect Street, the One Stop for Growth Fund in a water line, that's in and it's done. We just received a new grant for the complete overhaul of Otis Street, including water, drainage, sidewalks, and street surface. I'm gonna loop back to that in a little while, but that FY '24 also funded this master plan. And Mr. Ferrer and I have been talking about possible projects for FY '25. Those grants are due on June 5th, so it's coming right up. For those that aren't familiar with One Stop for Growth, the state took all their departments and put them under one umbrella and, you know, and calling it the One Stop for Growth. So the types of grants that could be planning grants, grants in support of housing, economic development grants, infrastructure grants. So for those that are interested, go online, type in Massachusetts One Stop for Growth, and you can find out more information. Projects have not been determined for the next grant. I know Mr. Olson's been working and thinking about complete streets. Work in progress. I don't have an update for green communities, but Warren is eligible to apply for green communities grants, and another colleague in our office is spearheading that effort, working with the town to determine what might make a good. I think Mr. Ferrer mentioned last meeting something that they're looking at. Does anyone recall? I forgot what it was.
Yeah, he did say something.
Yeah. Well, it's an ongoing agenda item. We'll come back with some more information about that at our next meeting. Wrights Mill. So a consulting firm has been hired, and they've been working to analyze, not necessarily specifically Wrights Mill, but what are things surrounding the mill that the town can do to make that site attractive for a future developer. So, you know, what's the condition of the wastewater treatment plant? Is there adequate water source available for a developer and whatever project that they might want to do? You know, is the bridges capable of sustaining truck traffic? Are the turning radiuses? All these different things are going to be analyzed as part of this study to find out, you know, what can be done to make the site more attractive to a future developer. Now, I will say just this morning, myself and a colleague, Carrie, in our office, she's our economic development coordinator at CMRPC, we had a lengthy conversation with the real estate agent that is working with trying to sell that property. What was it? I want to say S&P, or they're a real estate agency in Springfield, Mass, and they've been commissioned to try and sell the property. And this gentleman is going to meet with me and hopefully Mr. Ferreira, and we're going to do a tour. And he's already been on the site several times, and he's looking at strategies for marketing the site.
Has the owner of that property stated why he no longer wants it?
The owner is like a convoluted LLC, so we never get to actually talk to the owners. We get to talk to who the owner hired to help try to sell the facility.
Yeah.
You know?
But we have no ideas as to.
Well, the owner, there was a man who owned it. He died, and it went to his wife, and I think she just doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, she hired this real estate agency to sell it.
That's
Yeah.
the current owner now?
Yeah.
And what was their original idea for the place? Does anybody know? Or?
I think there's been a lot of ideas floated.
Yeah.
Because there's so many buildings, you know,
Yeah.
you can put all sorts of things, but nothing has stuck, obviously.
All right. And he's the third owner now, I think, in what, the last 10 years, I think?
No, he's
No.
owned it for a while. MDP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
He
owned
probably
it for a long,
yeah.
long time.
15, 20?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was sold a few times, the newspaper said.
I don't think so. Well, maybe.
Maybe over the years, but I know this current group has owned
They've
since
been there for a
2005
They've been
or
there.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's not almost
So-
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, I think then they were there when Palmer had a chance to get the casino, or they were up for it or whatever at that point. Were these people there then?
Yeah, I think so.
And didn't they try to do apartments in that building, I thought? The talk was back then?
There was conversation about it multiple times.
Right.
I know that.
But it never went through. right?
Never went through.
So what are the odds it's gonna go through this time?
It's more about selling the property to somebody who's willing to put a lot of money into it.
Right.
To make that stuff happen.
But it
And
didn't-
that's, this guy's trying to find, trying to target the right money in order to make this happen. And what it is finding developers that have an absorbent amount of money to
Right.
utilize this massive space. But right now, it's not about who's gonna go in it, it's who's gonna purchase it to develop it. So there's no plans for any businesses whatsoever to go into this property right now.
I can say this, and I asked him if there were anything
Yeah.
that can be shared or not shared, and he didn't have a problem. The real estate company is SR Commercial Real Estate out of Springfield, Mass. And he said likely things that might be attractive to the developer.
Right.
He doesn't care, he wants to sell it.
Yeah.
But what might be attractive to developer is housing.
Right.
And also hydro interest, actually,
Yeah.
was a couple of things that stood out.
Right.
Okay, so that's all I can tell you. So it's
No, I
not up
understand
to.
that, and it sounds like
Mm.
this CM thing, maybe possibly looking at housing, but the reason I was asking, housing didn't go through because they wanted to do housing,
Who's they?
the gentleman that's there. When the casino was gonna go in, it would have been a great opportunity, obviously, right? If Palmer had the casino, or had gotten the casino, housing would have took off like, you know, like a spaceship. But wasn't it turned down by the town back then?
I don't think it ever got to that point.
No.
Because I don't think it got to the point where they were ready to start the development. I think it was just an idea that said, hey, here's what we can bring to the table if this casino comes to the next town over. But because the first part of the equation never happened, the second part couldn't happen. There was no reason to develop it into housing because the casino went away. I think if that had happened, then you would have seen it go in front of the town. But I don't think it was turned down prior just because I don't think it ever got brought to the point of, hey, we need to decide, are we gonna allow housing in this property?
Yeah, never got to that
It just
point,
didn't
no.
get there.
No,
It didn't
right.
get there.
But they were working towards that, it just never evolved to that.
Now, did the housing just said they didn't want to enlarge the housing up there because there's a whole bunch of land behind them?
I think it got to that point.
Yeah,
Discussion, yeah.
because even the last developer that was working in there, was floating all those ideas around, and it was such a prime location for housing. And that extra space was like, hey, this could be a big walking park behind here along the river, and, I mean, there's a massive potential for so many different things there, and housing was definitely on that
But
list.
first you gotta line up a buyer.
Well,
So
that's
you
it.
gotta
Without-
buy,
without
then
a
you-
buyer,
then
you
I
got
think
nothing.
No,
you-
I'm talking about the housing up on Winter Terrace. There's
Yeah.
land behind there. But housing already said they didn't want any more units up there.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, don't.
Well, that's the housing authority.
Yeah, that's the housing
We're
authority.
talking about a developer would be interested in
Yeah.
doing a private.
Private.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is, it seems like nobody wants to do housing in town. We don't want the housing
haven't heard
authority
that.
doesn't want it.
I think that market's on the rise, because, I mean, new homes being built here, it's been consistent. Even through the fact that our interest rates and everything are so high, housing market has gone through the roof as far as cost, but even with that, we're still building new houses in town all the time.
Yeah, I've seen them.
So it's.
So we'll find out more about people's inflections about housing as our master plan
Yep.
develops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? So I thought I'd mention
That's
what is it?
That's good.
SR Commercial Real Estate.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Jeremy, you can be included on this visit.
Yeah.
Okay, Warren ADA Transition Plan. That's an effort that's ongoing. It's being conducted by the Centers for Living and Working out of Worcester. So they're going around as we speak, and they're analyzing all the public facilities and services and trying to determine what's up to snuff and what isn't up to snuff in terms of handicapped accessibility. So again, that's both the active, physical things. Is there an appropriate ramp? Are the sidewalks designed and built properly? As well as the services, are there the proper services here in the municipal building for people with various disabilities, whether it be sight or hearing or whatever have you. So the Center for Living and Working is doing that study right now, and they'll come back with the results rather soon, I think, by June, I believe, is when they actually have to have it completed. And that information will be useful in the pursuit of future grants. So that'll be a good, and I use some of it already as part of our community development block grant applications. So, well, that's a good transition. So, community development block grants. We do have a little bit of money in reserve available for this committee to make recommendations to the board, for minor need as needed for something in town. I believe 25,000 or something like that. The FY21 grant was the first phase for School Street, which put in the water line and the retaining wall. That's substantially complete. There's a little effort to clean up things this spring with that particular grant. I think some paving work on Main Street and some cleanup efforts and just minor little punch list items, But that's phase one. Phase two, funded through FY22 and 23, bids go out next week. And that bid is going to combine both that one-stop grant for Otis Street and the CDBG grant for School Street to do all the surface work and all the drainage work. So it's going to be a big project involving multiple grant sources and so on and so forth. And that's going to be that bid's going out next week. Okay, we'll receive bids 3 weeks after that, and hopefully we'll identify a low qualified, competent bidder and get that work started this spring. Just Monday, 2 days ago, on Warren's behalf, we submitted a $950,000 CDBG application, which was going to provide for improvements to River Street and Central Street and West Warren. The driving force for that particular project was the need for upgraded water lines, but we'll also completely rehab River Street as well with some drainage improvements and some road improvements, and we're going to reline the sewer main that's there. We're not digging up the sewer because it's very deep and that'd be costly and it'd be a major disruption to the entire village. So we're using a relining technology called Cured in Place that will reline and basically repair the existing sewer line. And then as we did not have enough money in the grant application, Central Street is just going to get their water line through this grant, if it's funded, which I'm hoping it will be. We'll know in July. And then in the future monies or future application will address the Central Street surface improvements, the sidewalk, the street, the drainage, and so on and so forth. So that's the major fiscal project for the new application that went in on Monday. But we're also sought funds for the design of Cutter Park. And we've kicked around a lot of ideas, and it's just design, so nothing's hard and fast at this point in time. If this grant is funded for the design, well, there'll be a lot more community input as to what actually should be designed on the site. So that's an exciting project. I'm looking forward to that. So that's the CDBG update. We continue to work on a community development strategy. I mentioned it a lot in our recent application and say how we were going to update it. And I'd like to, because that's a solid document that actually looks at the town priorities, what are the needs, and it outlines them in a very concise document and prioritizes them, and it gives us the tool that we need to look at as we're advancing and looking at future projects. So I think that's a document that could be updated the way we see fit and use it as a tool to analyze future projects. As new business, I got a couple of things that just came in. Well, I mentioned the conversation with SR Commercial Realty this morning, and also our office, Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, has what we call DLTA. It's called Direct Local Technical Assistance. It's funding we get from the state to do small little projects for the communities that we work with, and $7,800 has been committed to Warren. They call this Warren Diagnostics Zoning, or Warren Zoning Diagnostics. So they're going to look at your existing zoning and work with the community to see if anything needs to be updated or modified or so on and so forth. So that's something that another person from CMRPC is going to be working on with the town. So that's it.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Nice, yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. So, you know, I want to say, I will probably mention about 8 different things CMRPC is involved in. I'm not, you know, intimately familiar with everything, but I'm able to come here and give you guys a snapshot, which I hope you find to be useful. And I hope that's a role that can be filled in the future. And I will say that right now, if we've taken applications for a new community development planner, you know, someone, I hope, whoever that person is, can be trained to fulfill my role. And it could be, I think you've met Joe Ferguson, it could be him, it could be this other person, or it could be a combination of both. So that effort is underway as well. So.
Yeah, I had a little update too, new businesses, my culvert grants I've been working on with CMRPC, Zachary Blaze, nice guy helping me out. We sent out an RFP this week. We have some responses. Some companies don't want to touch it because it's difficult environmental situations, having, you know, the wetlands and the culverts that need to be replaced, the ones we're working on. But we did get some positive response from Ty and Bond and a few other places. So that's progressing. It's basically going to be for a study, field study for the locations. That's what we're looking for funding for now, and to possibly see what type of culverts we could replace, what design they would want to go with, you know, that best suits the situation environmentally. It's through the DER, and so again, we're just in that planning stage of talking to these firms, but they seem to already respond and have some good energy as far as which direction we could go in. And this would be phase 1 of a 3-part grant, for the study first, and then the engineering, and then the actual construction. So, but like I said, we had some good things happening this week for that. I have a meeting possibly tomorrow on that too. So we're waiting. Hopefully, maybe in 1 or 2 more companies will reach out to us and say that they want to dig their hands into it a little bit and see what it is. But you know, at least we do have some action on it.
Any word on the bridges thing?
What's that?
We working on a bridge?
Small bridge grant. Yes, there's design. They're in the process now for the application for the actual construction. The contacts from Mass DOT have pretty much gave me the assurance that our project is definitely going to be funded, just because they wouldn't have picked it for design if it wasn't high enough concern for replacement. And
So
unless,
design has
as long
been
as the
funded?
funding is there from the state, which right now it is, the next round should fund the construction of a replacement, so a small bridge on South Street, right by the mill complex. So it's currently, if anybody drives that way, they'll know there's plastic barriers around and a steel plate covering where the bridge once was. So it's that one, and they also gave the go-ahead for design on the bridge that turns onto Pulaski Street at the mills, which is almost the same exact size bridge. So they're both just over 10 feet, but again, they're both deteriorating. You know, they're crumbling to nothing. So hopefully the funding comes forward with that, but right now it does seem to be moving along. So
That works into the realm of what can the town do to make redevelopment of the Wrights Mill more desirable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 2 small bridges are a key piece to Wrights Mill. Without them being replaced, they cannot handle heavy truck traffic anymore. So the state knows this, and they are definitely working with us to try and fix those 2 small bridges. So, good stuff. All right. Anyone else? Anything want to bring? Nothing? Has
The
anything?
bridge in Maryland, they said it's gonna cost over $1 trillion, so you guys better get your grant money quick.
Well, luckily for us, it's a little different funding. So.
So our next meeting is the 24th of April, right?
24. Yep.
Okay.
Anything from the online folks?
No.
Is anyone on? No?
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Steve Bristol second.
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Steve Bristol, aye.
Carol Sassville, aye.
Jeremy Olson, aye. Meeting is adjourned.
So,